After a long and treacherous journey, I am finally approaching the end. With the helicopter now blown to bits and my teammates parked in handicapped spaces, I had no choice but to continue on alone. That's okay though, because the apartment complex I was inside of was a blessing in disguise. Multiple corridors and tight spaces meant that I could ambush enemies and take them out without even breaking a sweat. If I'm being honest, this place was a dream come true to anyone doing this challenge. However guys, always remember that for everything sweet must come something sour. And this game really had no shame in gagging me with a bag full of lemons. Let me explain what I mean using one word, one horrifying, dreadful word. Snipers. There were snipers. You see, I got to this area where all I had to do was jump across to the other side and take out these two enemies. It's not really that bad until I realized that there were snipers aimed at me from across the street. Their aim was something straight out of John Wick. A single bullet from their gun depleted my health all the way down to 0. I don't know if it was because I had no health to begin with, but these bullets really did bend me over. The second the sniper saw me in their line of sight, I was already in the loading screen. Truthfully, luck played a huge part when it came to dealing with the snipers in this game. You see, after I got past this little ledge jump, I then had to use the rooftop of the building in order to get to the other side. And as you can see, there were plenty of snipers ready to take me out. It got really bad. Sometimes all I did was spawn and I'd just die. I swear to God, the sniper bullets were like a jump scare in this game because they would kill you from out of nowhere. This area alone had me clenching my cheeks so hard that I thought I broke my ass. I tried to use slow motion to my advantage to see if I could dodge those bullets, but if I'm being honest, I don't think that helped me in any way. I would always be so close to the goddamn exit, so close, but then boom, heaven. I mean, sometimes it wasn't even the snipers that killed me. Sometimes the men that were around me would just light me up with bullets because, in case you haven't noticed, my health wasn't exactly the highest. Even regular guns would take me out in the blink of an eye. This was getting out of hand. I decided I had enough of this and made my final move to that doorway. Unfortunately, out of sheer panic, I quick saved right at the entrance. It's only after getting no-scoped by a sniper inside of the building that I realized I made a huge mistake. You see, because I quick saved right at the entrance, I would spawn in front of the enemy fire every single time. It doesn't really take a genius to figure out how bad this actually got, so I'ma just tell you that making a sharp and lucky left turn allowed me to escape this predicament. After I decreased this game's NPC count by just a couple, I was tripping some major balls. You see, the cocaine I swallowed earlier made me see a dead woman, it made me hear voices, and it even had me getting chased by naked floating men. Naturally, I ran away and made my escape by jumping out of a window, but unfortunately, the nightmare was not over. The visions from hell still kept coming, so I decided that the only way to get me out of this high was to punch it out of my system. Thankfully, this game did not shy away from giving me freshly baked punching bags. They were coming to me by the truckload, and they even had rocket launchers, so shit got real very quickly. The guy with the rocket launcher got really annoying since he also was heavily armored. So it's basically like getting cheated on, but then you find out that it was with your best friend, which makes it so much worse. So yeah, unfortunately, I had to resort to weaponry for the big man. After some walking, some brawling, and some shit talking, I again made it to an area that put me into a state of psychosis. Now I'm gonna try to explain this part without sounding stupid, so bear with me. Alright, so basically you start at the bottom, right? Right at the lower class. And then there are 3 men above you, or 4, I honestly don't even remember, and they are all at different angles. As soon as you try to vault up to them, because up is where you must go, you get instantly blasted by bullets. You can do what I do and run straight to the ladder by healing yourself as you go, but once you get up there, more men come crashing through the second floor window, and you're basically toast. Now I've been at it for a couple of tries now, and I can honestly say I've made absolutely no progress. Running around, hitting random things, usually helps me think about what my next move should be. After some time, I decided my best plan was to haul ass and take out everyone as fast as I could. After attempting this a few times, it's not the way to do it. Don't do that. Look, by the time I took everyone out, the enemies on the second floor have already come out to play and would gun me down. But then I discovered that miracles do exist. I found out that I could get up using a more effective way. This new way up made it a lot easier and faster to take out all of the men, even though I just barely managed to kick this last guy. With everyone dead, I decided to climb up the ladder, but heard voices of an enemy, so got scared and went back down. I looked down at my legs, realized I had balls, and told myself to man the fuck up. I put on my big boy pants, went up that goddamn ladder, grabbed that health and that vial I saw earlier, and was ready for some fucking war. This burst of confidence was all for nothing, since all I had to do was go inside this hole in the floor, and then boom, it helped me escape. Here's what happened next. I got a grenade thrown at my face. The invisible jumping man fell to his death. A mech blew me to a million pieces. But that's okay, because then I blew him up into a million pieces. His friend suffered a similar fate. I fell into a pool of blood, and I now had to face the demons. They were absolutely, by far, the worst enemy in the game. Now before we continue, I just want to let you guys know that if you feel that I skipped any important parts of the game, just know that from here on out, a lot of my footage actually ended up corrupted. What you see here until the end of the video is basically the only things I could recover. With that being said, something amazing happened. An old friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while got absolutely destroyed. I celebrated as best as I could, wishing I could just revive him one last time to kill him again, but then I got greeted by the demons. Every time they touch you, it hits hard. It would have definitely helped if I had more health during these sections, but since I didn't, perfection was an absolute necessity. The only way I was able to do this part was to go all the way to the back of the room so that I could have enough time to perfect my kicks. Perfectly timed kicks allowed me to take out the demons without taking any damage. Moving to the back of the room also allows me to try and separate the demons, since they like to move in a pack, and to be honest, that's a big no-no. Now it is possible to take out 2 demons with one single kick, but it's highly unlikely that you'll come out unscathed, so I wouldn't recommend it. Ladies and gentlemen, patience and timing was key. Once that area was taken care of, I snapped Fettel's neck with my legs and dropped my nuts onto his face repeatedly in order to celebrate. Finally, the bad guy was dead. Sadly, however, I found out that my girl Alice did not make it through this game. And if that wasn't bad already, even worse than that were that the credits didn't start to roll either, so that meant I wasn't free just yet. Thankfully, now that Fettel was dead, all of the enemies under his control were basically just not functionable. They didn't work. I came across Evelyn and, well, yeah, he's dead. He's dead. It's after the death of Harlan Wade, this man, Alice's father. It's after this moment where the game takes a turn for the worse. As you can see, the demons can now spawn in the real world. Just 2 hits from them dropped my health from 81 to 29. That's how dangerous they were. The further I walked through the facility, the more that spawned. Here's the fun part though. Even after I get past the first spawn, hell, even after I get past the second spawn, there's a 3rd goddamn spawn I have to deal with no extra health. This entire section has to be done with just the health I came in with. You get like, I think 1 medkit in here after you fight the first wave, but that gets depleted very quickly after fighting the second. So, how did I go about this, you ask? How did I do the impossible? Well, at first, I tried my absolute hardest not to lose that much health. I figured that if I could maintain my health high enough throughout the first and second wave, I could be able to handle the third wave. When the second wave came in, I grabbed the only health and armor the game gave me and realized very quickly that it's definitely impossible to not lose health. I will never be able to not lose health in this part. There is no strategy to this. I literally just had to keep going with the flow of things. After I completed the first and second wave of demons for like the 30th time, I decided to quick save right here and just try to figure out how I would tackle the third wave of demons with only 25 health. I tried to run away, but as you can see, the sheer amount that follow me is just, no, it's disgusting. Literally 1 hit and I'm dead. I ran all the way back to the beginning, and for once, something seemed doable. They were coming at me one by one. But nope, not even this worked. So, what was my next brilliant idea? Well, as soon as I would spawn in, I'd use my slow motion and brute force my way past the enemies. Surprisingly, this actually worked out better than I expected. I tried going for the medkit on the other side, but it always ended in me just dying, so I decided to just go on without it. I then realized that I wasn't being chased anymore. I went back to check on what was happening to the demons, and would you look at that? I now know that somehow, some way, there were ways to get these demons stuck. There were ways to break the game. With this thought now in mind, I proceeded forwards into the trenches where things just got worse. After blowing up these energy canisters, I had demons coming from both ends of these platforms. This time, running away was not an option since they would get stuck in the hallway I needed to go back to. And if you couldn't tell already, once they are stuck like this, there's just no way in hell I'll be able to pass them without dying. I tried many things. I slid into them, I tried gun whipping, I tried avoiding them, but nothing worked. I was a one hit, a two hit at best. Performing a bicycle kick seemed to almost get me past them, but it just wasn't enough. I was running out of options. I spotted a medkit on the ground below, and for a few attempts tried to get it. Now I wasn't really sure if I was able to get this medkit or not, but all I was thinking in my mind is that I need to do whatever it takes to beat this part. It was on one of these attempts that I made a revolutionary discovery. I'd say that it was even more important than the discovery of fire, something so crazy that I think it'll change F.E.A.R as we know it. Upon jumping on the edge of the railing, I noticed that the demons did not move. None of them. This, my friends, was a game changer. Although I was safe up here on the railing, I now had to be very careful about what I did next, since as soon as I jumped off, the enemies would continue to move again. I decided to use my slow motion since it made it easier to take out the demons blocking the way to go. This worked out stupidly well. I then made it to some elevator after running away from the few that I did not kill, and surprise surprise, I was met with a fuck ton more. After scratching my head, scratching my balls, still trying to figure out how on earth I would do this, it hit me. It hit me like my mother used to hit me. There were railings to the side of the platform, so I jumped on them, and bingo, would you look at that. Jumping on railings definitely breaks the AI for some reason. With that area completed, I knew the ending was just at the tip of my dick. Everything was exploding around me, and with that came even more demons. After outrunning all of them, I came to an empty room. Or so I thought, because once I jumped in, an incredible amount of demons pulled up out of nowhere. And I'm talking like an insane amount. I mean, there was just no way in hell I would be able to do this without a weapon. There was no way to outrun them, there was no way to break their ankles. I mean, they just kept spawning in one after another. Even with the medkit the game gave me, it was impossible. No, it's not happening. This was way too much. But then I thought to myself, hey, maybe I could jump on top of the rack that the medkit was on, and I don't know, maybe find another way out. You see guys, in situations like this, you gotta think outside the box. So I went ahead and did just that, and surprisingly, I ended up a lot higher than expected. Once up here, the same situation happened. Every demon froze. God damn, there was no way I'd be able to take them on with just my fist. Nope. Well, with nowhere else to go, I tried to get down, but got instantly assaulted. I knew I couldn't just stay up here wasting time, so I jumped behind everyone and, well, none of them turned around for some reason. I was even able to take them all out one by one. Occasionally, somewhat unfreeze, but it was never overwhelming. Discovering I could do this brought me down to tears as finally the suffering was about to end. If I could somehow pass this part, I knew that I could pass whatever else this goddamn game had to throw at me. So, upon dying, I kept repeating the same strategy over and over, and once the last demon was killed, nothing happened. Literally nothing. I don't know if the game was bugged out, but nothing happened. Now, as much as I wanted to leave this room, I literally couldn't. I was stuck in here, and I didn't know why. I theorized that maybe I just didn't do this part fast enough. Maybe for some reason, staying in this room for too long broke the game somehow. So in my next turn, just to test this out, I hauled as much ass as I could and wasted no time in getting stuff done. And behold, the floor shot up into the air. Things were getting rough, but I prevailed. I got up to this area where demons would spawn to the left of me and in this hallway. As you can imagine, this small space got crowded fairly quickly, so I thought of a brand new plan. I took out the demons that spawned to the left of me without triggering the demons that spawned in the hallway and performed a quick save. Now all I had to do was deal with the hall monitors. I figured since all I had to do was get through the hallway, I'd just try to run around these demons, and it actually worked. I ended up in another drug-infused dream where Evelyn taught me that I should have quick saved before getting to her. It's because once I died to her, she would send me all the way back to where the hall monitors were. Now I know all of a sudden this game looks like it got recorded on a Nokia flip phone, but something happened to my recording settings and well, I didn't realize the quality dropped until after I beat the game, so just bear with me, I'll make this quick. Basically, I died over and over to Evelyn until I managed to kick her to death. Now all I had to do was get past these demons to get to the other side of the hallway. It seemed impossible at first, but then I came up with a strategy that I kept repeating until it worked. I would hit this corner, turn on slow motion, and then immediately turn around and hug the wall hoping for the best. Now this went on for quite some time, but all I needed was that lucky shot, and boom, I got it. My heart started to race as I ran away from the demons. I told the elevator to please get me the fuck out of here, and then a nuclear explosion happened. Believe it or not, I somehow survived that explosion, and somehow my teammates were also alive. With one final ride of the helicopter, I can finally say that I beat F.E.A.R without any weapons to the best of my ability. Now that was a nightmare. Thank you guys so much for watching, and leave a comment down below, and maybe subscribe if you like what you saw. With that all said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.